All right, so really just want to tell a story about activism here in Lincoln. First things first, a little history lesson. This place right here used to be a wild prairie full of coneflower, big blue stem, but it wasn't an uninhabited place. It was this was the borderland of the Pawnee and the Oto, Missouri, and they were agriculturalists. They hunted in the summer and winter, and they had an equilibrium with the land here. And they knew that they were a part of this community of life. And the environmental activist movement is really working to bring our society back to that equilibrium. Because if we don't make it to this equilibrium, we will not see the next century. So we've been working on this for a while. Here's my friend Buffalo Bruce in the early 90s up in Cooper Park, sitting up in a tree. And he's the cops trying to get him down. They're going to cut down some oaks. So he told him to fuck off. And, you know, that's what you got to do sometimes to protect our mother. But, you know, Lincoln is really in an education space. And one of the things that I've noticed is media has such a huge influence on us. And so we have this great thing called community radio here in Lincoln. We have KZUM, the only community radio station in Nebraska. And I'm a part of a show called Earth to Lincoln. And we talk about all the environmental stuff. We've had a whole bunch of people with Bold, Nebraska on, Mary Pfeiffer, everybody that's doing something in our community. Because you have to understand, there are things going on in this community, and we need to build momentum if we're going to make it to the next century. I can't stress that enough. We also have Occupy Lincoln. And they're doing Occupy Education. Education should not be paid for. It should be shared. And that's where that happens. Here's an instance where education really stopped the demon. With the Stop the XL pipeline, we were able to stop that. We were able to protect our land and protect the overall aquifer, and hopefully we'll be able to kill it for good. Keep your eyes on that one and keep yourselves educated. Like I said, we're in an education space, and we need to learn more and share this stuff. Wilderness Park, right there down on South 14th Street is where I took this picture. It is the cradle of biodiversity here in Lancaster County. I was going to walk down the path. Okay, but let's talk about biodiversity. Again, the Pawnee, the Oto, Missouri, they knew that they were part of this community of life, and biodiversity is the safety net. It is the thing that gives us life. It is the root of all life. And we, for the past couple hundred years, our culture, have worked voraciously to destroy the thing that gives us life. The thing that gives this beautiful buck life. And again, we're not going to make it to the next century unless we change. There are people, though, that are working on this. And there's a few people that are doing like really great things, but what we need is the support of this community. We need people to get out and kick some butt, and we can, you know, enjoy this beauty. I really can't stress the biodiversity thing enough. We have to protect our wildlands. Obviously, you know, in the earlier presentation, he went out to 9 Mile Prairie because he knew that there was something sacred there. And we have to protect the sacred, we have to protect our lives, we have to protect our future, and that's what we have to do. Now, maybe we don't want to go to the woods, and I understand that, but and we all live in the city. But there's a group in Lincoln called Nebraska Pioneers, and what they're doing is trying to figure out how to live sustainably here in Lincoln, how to live in the urban setting and to have local foods, local culture. Here's an example of us in Peter Pan Park doing a bike kitchen, and this was actually on 10-10-10. This was the beginning of the Near South Community Bike Kitchen. So if you guys know where that is, that was a picture of the baby being born right there. So this is an example of what Bioneers is working towards. A permaculture garden in the backyard, and we got this new project called Project Community, where there's fire keepers, people with land who want to start developing rain barrels, permaculture, and then we got the nomads, people who maybe don't have land, but they want to start engaging in a sustainable lifestyle here in Lincoln. So we're combining these people with land, people who want to work with the land, and we're actually changing the face of Lancaster County here in Lincoln. Again, these are a few people. We have about a dozen fire keepers. We don't have enough nomads. So if anybody here is renting, please let me know. And if you want to start living in a way that we need to live in, if we're going to see the next century, please let me know. This here is Prairie Wood. We have 2 places in Lancaster County that are about 49 acres each, and we're developing eco-village type stuff here. So if you guys want to get away from the urban stuff, we're going to have some sweet, groovy eco-villages. Also, the L Plan 2040, while that wasn't a perfect plan, they did at least have some language of sustainability and a focus on it. Here they, well, okay, there's the next slide. Anyway, this is kind of militaristic, but I don't really want an army to be a part of. I really want a community. Armies just fight, communities live. So I want to live with you guys. I want to see a future that can actually survive through. So I love you guys. Thanks.